On this video, we're going to talk about this TV right here. This is the TCL Q5 series. This TV also has features like 4K upscaling, QLED technology. It's a 60 Hz panel with 240 motion rate, and it does have a feature called HDR Pro Plus. But what is HDR Pro Plus? According to TCL, this enhances the processing power to give you even better control over the black levels, contrast, and color accuracy. And with the high piece brightness, this TV should give you better shadow details. But we'll take a look at that a little bit later on in the video. This series of TVs use direct LEDs, and it is available from a 50-inch all the way up to 85-inch. And note here that all the panels are VA panel for better contrast. Now let's go and open this up and see what's inside. Now, according to this box, this does support Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, as well as DTX audio, so it should be a pretty fun TV. So in the box, it comes with these plastic feet, and I wouldn't expect too much just because it is a budget television. You also get a setup guide, remote control with batteries, some screws for the feet, and a power cable. So here's the remote control that comes in the box. It has your voice commands, inputs, power, your navigation keys, as well as some hotkeys at the bottom, and that includes Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, Disney, and a few other ones plus applications. And this TV should be pretty easy to unbox. I'll just slide it right here and make sure that the glass is upward so you don't damage anything. And it does come with this cardboard on the front of it, so it protects the TV pretty well. But let's go and get this completely out of the box so we can take a closer look. On the bottom of it, you have some screw holes for mounting the feet. There's some speakers right here. And then here in the center, there's a press button so you can get through some of the basic menu features. So from the side here, you can see it's pretty thin, but it does have this tapered back on it. And then as we go down to the bottom, we have this little bit bigger back on it. So it's not going to be that flush to the wall. Now I don't have all the other TVs, but on this 50-inch, from foot to foot, you're looking at 37 inches. So if you have an entertainment center or anything you try to put it on, that's going to be the distance that you have between the feet. So here's the back of the television so you can take a closer look at the design. It does have like this A-frame right here, and that's going to reinforce it. And down here you have this little box right here, and this has all the electronics in it. Now the interesting thing is that they did put the network cable on the back of it, so if you mount it on the wall, not sure if that would be a problem. It also has these screw holes, so it's going to be easy to mount. And on the left hand side, you do have your power input right there, so you can extend the cable, which is great. Now as far as input, you have one USB 2.0, 3 HDMI 2.0, and the third one down here is for eARC, so you can hook it up to a soundbar. You have your standard TV tuner. With adapter, you can hook up older composite inputs. You have a headphone jack, and down here you have a fiber optic, so you can run it over to some of the older sound bars. So now I'm going to show you how to set this television up, and you're going to need an Amazon account. The first thing you're going to do is go ahead and choose your language, and you will hear a series of beep until you do that. Then press continue. If you have the Fire TV app installed on your mobile device, you can scan that barcode. On this video, I'll just show you how to set up with the remote. So the first thing you would do is go ahead and select your Wi-Fi and then enter your Wi-Fi password. Now you can see that it already connected to my Wi-Fi, and then it'll check for updates. Now there's two different ways you can set this up. I'm going to do the full installation where you have access to all the apps. But if you don't really want to use a lot of applications, you can also set it up as a basic install. Now the first thing you would need to do is sign into your Amazon account, or you can go over here and create a new Amazon account right from your television. So what you can do is go over to this website, amazon.com/code, or scan the barcode if you have the Amazon app on your phone already. And this will enter your username automatically, so you'll be ready to start using the television once it's up and running. And once it's registered your account, it will appear on your Amazon Alexa devices, just so you know. And you can also save your password just in case in the future you add other Amazon devices. Now you will be greeted with some different applications that they're promoting, but for demonstration purposes, we're not going to be adding anything extra to the television. Now you do get this prompt to add some other applications if you don't want to. And you can press the play pause button to skip through all this if you want to. It does have an optional for parental control. You can get newsletters if you want. And you get a welcome screen that shows you some of the features that you can do with this television. Now, I don't have an antenna plugged in, but if you do have an antenna plugged in, just go ahead and hit yes and it'll scan for channels. And keep in mind, you can add more profiles to the television, but we're going to just use the one that's on my main account. So here's the main screen that you'll be greeted with, and there's plenty of applications in here. Now keep in mind, they're going to recommend a lot of different things to you, but if you don't have the services, some of them you might have to log in and pay for. But Amazon does have a lot of free content that's part of your Prime Video account, just so you know. Now it has these little icons. One, you can choose your input, you have your favorites, you can find stuff, and this is where you would watch live TV if you plug an antenna into it. And if we go over here to the very corner, you have a gear, and this will give you access to the TV controls like your inputs, notification, profiles, your Wi-Fi. You even have sound settings, applications. So you have a lot of different options inside of here, including your sleep timer and using the Amazon Alexa app. And with the Alexa, you can start giving it commands like, what's the weather like today? Open up YouTube app. Another cool feature with having Alexa connected to this device, you can actually see your Ring cameras on the TV whenever someone comes closer to your home, so you can see what's happening around you and you don't even have to leave your TV set. One thing I want to point out about the operating system is that it does have a few ads here that's going to pop up in the top when you go to the home screen, but it does have a lot of robust features, and that includes Apple AirPlay, HomeKit, you can cast to it. So there's a lot of features that you're going to definitely like about this television. So now we're going to take a look at some TV content, and I'm just going to say right now, I'm blown away of the picture quality on this budget television. For me, the picture is very vibrant, the colors are good. And I'm going to say that it has the best upscaling or anything like that at this point. For your everyday consumer just watching sporting events on it, I think the picture quality on it is pretty good. It all depends on the signal that you play through it, but so far, I'm pretty happy with it. But while it's in SDR mode, let's take a look at some of the different picture options in here. So we do have your standard mode, and that's what I've been playing on it. And then we have your movie mode, but I still like the standard look overall. It's just my personal taste because I like that cooler look. But there we have, again, the movie. We have dynamic that's going to bring in a lot more brightness. We have natural that really gets rid of that saturation. And at the bottom here, you can customize your settings. Now in the custom settings, you can adjust everything that you like your brightness, your color, your tint, sharpness. You can also turn on low latency, and you have advanced settings. And again, this is something that you can go in and customize exactly how you want, so it won't affect the other picture profiles in this television. Next, we're going to take a look at HDR and see what kind of options are available in this particular format. One thing I noticed that you lose a lot of saturation in standard mode, so it gets a little bit more natural profile. You have to choose if you like HDR or SDR. But I will tell you, if you use the built-in apps, you don't have an option to change it to different formats. So you'll need a streaming device like what I'm using, which is the Apple TV, but it'll work with Roku as well as Google TV. You just have to have that streaming device to have control over it. But the picture is pretty rock solid. Now I would say that this TV doesn't have local dimming zone, so it's not gonna be a complete black picture, and especially when you're watching a letterbox movie like this. But that's something expected, especially for a TV in this price range. And now we're going to take a look at Dolby Vision, and it does pop up an icon in the corner, which I really like that because some TV manufacturers don't give you that option to see the Dolby Vision mode. Now, one thing I noticed in Dolby Vision, the picture is a lot brighter and a lot more detailed than I've seen in the other two formats. So definitely Dolby Vision is doing something right here. Now, if we go back down to the picture settings, we'll see what kind of options. And the reason why it's so bright is because it automatically went to Dolby Vision Bright, but then we have that Dolby Vision Dark. So I would say if you're watching movies in the daytime, you're definitely gonna like that brightness. But if you're watching at nighttime, you definitely wanna switch over to the dark mode so it's not gonna be too bright on your eyes. And there's a Dolby Vision Gaming here as well, but keep in mind, not having a console plugged into it at the moment, you definitely wanna just use the bright or the dark, but TV looks really good. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Being that this is a budget TV, I think this TV has a pretty good picture on it. If you look at a lot of TVs on the market, especially in this price point, a lot of times you're not gonna be able to get something that has great colors, but I will say it doesn't have the inkiest black level. Next, let's take a look at gaming. So let's check our options on the Xbox. You can see that it does support 4K, And it does support 1440p as well, all at 60 frames per second. Under TV details, you can see that it is a 60 Hz television. It doesn't support the 120 Hz, and this TV does support Dolby Vision gaming, and it does have auto low latency, but as you can see here, I'm not seeing an option to switch it over to variable refresh rate, even though the TV is in gaming mode. Now we switched over to the PS5, and as you can see here that VRR is not supported as I showed you on the Xbox, but it will support up to that 60 frames per second. And it will support that 1440p, which is a plus. And of course, it will support 1080p up to 60 frames per second as well. Now let's do some gaming on this television, see how it performs. Man, look at that, it pops pretty good. I'm not saying this TV has wide color gamuts or anything like that. For the average person, I think they're gonna be very happy with the performance of the gaming on here. Now keep in mind, it is 60 frames per second, which is fine because that's what most games are in. But look at the color reproduction on it. Now as this game loads, I just want to let you know the black levels, you can definitely see some of the backlights coming in. But again, I have really low expectations when you're not spending too much money on the television. Obviously, it doesn't have local dimming zones or anything like that, so just know what to expect when buying this television. But the colors on this TV looks really good. Only thing I will let you know, it's not that bright of a television, but it is bright enough for most scenes. And again, for most people, I think you're going to be happy with this television, especially if you're part of the Amazon system where you want to control it with your Alexa devices or things like that. So again, gaming, it's going to be great. Now the input lag on this TV is really not that good. As you can see, it's getting 42.6 milliseconds and the TV's in gaming mode. If I go down here to the bottom, let's turn on the auto low latency, see if it gets any better. Let go of this, press it again. And again, 42.9, 42.5. So the input lag on this TV is not going to be that great. So if you're a gamer, when I was playing, I thought I got a decent experience, but overall, it's not that fast of a television when it comes to that. So as you can see, the input lag is not that great on this TV, but when I was just gaming, I personally didn't notice anything. But I'm going to say, if you're a hardcore gamer, this might not be the television for you, but for the average person who don't really notice the difference, I think you'll be just fine. Now I want to test this television out, and we're going to start off with looking at the consistency of the screen. And first we're going to start off with a dirty screen effect, and as you can see, this is not the most accurate television whatsoever. I do notice that there is a lot of inconsistency in this screen, and that's maybe because it doesn't have local dimming zones to control the rates. But again, when you're watching content on it, I don't think it's something that you're going to notice that much, but I just want you to know that it does exist. As far as blooming, you're going to see some on this TV along with the light glow of the backlights. It doesn't make it a bad TV. In fact, I think this TV looks fantastic, but you got to take in consideration price points on some of these different models and the fact that I'm reviewing these just to show you what they look like before you go out and spend your money. Now, of course, I'm going to always recommend a mini LED with a lot of local dimming zones or OLED television if you want those inky black levels. But if your budget is conscious, this is something that you need to be aware of when buying TVs like this. When it comes to motion, previously Amazon Fire TVs didn't have it or I couldn't find it. But in standard mode, this looks very smooth. When it comes to movies, you might get some jaggedy edges on looking at a test like this because movie mode is 24 frames per second. And then we have dynamic mode that really smooths everything out. So just keep in mind, these picture profiles can change the way the TV performs. So if you're getting a soap opera effect or it doesn't look so smooth, this is something to definitely consider. Now I want to select custom down here, and the reason why is we go down here to the bottom, we now have motion processing. And again, this is a feature I didn't see on previous Fire TVs, but as you can see, it does a good job cleaning everything up. So in my opinion, this TV does have decent motion, but you just got to select the right thing to get it to give you the best performance. As far as upscaling, I think this TV is doing a fairly decent job, but I will tell you with the logos down in the bottom, I can see some blurriness in it. But I would say that most people will not be playing 480p content. But switching over to 1080p, of course, all the graphics get much better, the colors get better, and you don't see those jaggedy edges like you did before. So I would say upscaling is going to be great, but if you're trying to play some old home movies, you might see some pixelization or some jagged edges. It's just those older signals are so low resolution that the TV is going to do its best to upscale it. But of course, switching over to 4K, this TV is really getting the signal exactly how you want it. I can see a little bit of fringing around parts of the boat, but it's not perfect. And you definitely have to consider that for the price point of this TV, it's actually doing a pretty decent job overall. As far as glare, I'm just using my cell phone light right here, and it actually does a good job. A lot of times you'll see this all over the place, but again, for glare, I think it's going to be decent. But like I always say, if you have a room with a lot of lights in it, you got to make sure that you have some blinds or something you can close so you get the least amount of glare possible, because that can become very annoying. And here's a look at the viewing angles, and if you're right in front of the TV, it looks fine, but as you get off axis, you're going to definitely get a lot of coloration on it. So just be aware of that if you have different seating arrangements, or if you're planning on mounting this TV above a fireplace, you can see that you will lose some of the color reproduction. So as you can see, there's a lot of pluses and minuses in this television, but overall picture quality, I think it does a pretty decent job for what it is. Now, when it comes to audio, this TV does have 10 watts by 2, and don't expect it to be extremely loud, but for casual TV watching, I think it'll be just fine.
This is a Tech Steve audio test. For the next few moments, sit quietly and experience the range of this TV's audio capabilities as we test the boundaries of sound.
Now I would say that this TV does have a decent sound system for basic TV speakers. The thing I noticed is you're not going to get a lot of bass response or anything like that, but you have some features in here like movie, music, and it does have DTS X sound in it, so it will create kind of like a surround sound out of the two speakers. You can enhance the dialogue. If you watch a movie, you can't hear it good. It also has a volume leveler, so if you're watching those annoying commercials, it can help out with that. And with the speaker visualizer, this is where you can get Dolby Atmos sound out of the two speakers. Plus it has a built-in EQ, so you can customize everything. But my recommendation is just get a sound bar, hook it up to the HDMI, and you're going to experience a much better audio than you can get out of TV speakers. Before we end this video, I just want to show you some more examples of what this TV looks like when you have a 4K signal on it. So these demos are really just to show you how well the TV performs. And in my opinion, I think as you see these different demos that the TV looks perfectly fine. And even though I did a lot of tests on this television showing you how well it performs, at the end of the day, this is what it really looks like, and it is a great looking television. And considering the price point, I want to give this TV a plus just because of how well it performs for the dollar value. I also want to let you know, if you turn down the brightness on this television, the contrast gets pretty inky, as you can see in this demo right here. And I know a lot of people don't review this type of television, but I'm for the people. I like to review from the high end all the way to the entry level, because I believe that everyone who's watching my content want to get a fair opinion about what they're watching and to see if they should make that investment. I'm Tech Steve. If you haven't already, make sure you're going to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.